Good morning, Saints. All right, so I'm gonna do a review recap of Greenleaf, the final episode, the finale. All right, all right. First of all, I want to start off with by talking about okay, last week I believe I said Charity's the actress playing Charity was CC Winans' sister. Just because I think she just looks a lot like her. She kept reminding me of her. I thought her voice even sounded a lot like hers. But apparently I was wrong. That's why I got to recorrect it. She's actually her niece. So I don't know all the family dynamics and all that. She is Winans, but she's Cece's niece, not her daughter. The other thing was I called Jacob Joshua. His name is Jacob. All the biblical names. All right, so this is a good episode. A lot happened in this episode. All right, I'll start it off with Lady May. Lady May preached at this women's conference she's been talking about for the last couple of weeks. They hold it in a fancy hotel, it's like a ladies' day, and it was called Women's Day, I think. And they have, they have all the nice hats and things. It's a special event that they have, I guess, once a year. But she gets up there, and Lady May preaches. Now she really does preach too. She does a pretty good job. And what she's preaching about though is she's trying to introduce the idea of that a woman is capable of running Calvary. Now, what she's doing is introducing herself. She's putting herself up as the person who's going to take over for Bishop. I don't know if I mean take over for him, but the person who is next in line, let's say, at Calvary. But she's putting herself up. She wants to take over. But you remember that little secretary who doesn't have much to say, always got her headphones in, you know, hardly even communicates with people. Well, after Lady May, gets everybody all excited about a woman being in the pulpit at Calvary, she stands up and turns her whole body around to face Grace. And then she starts off in this thunderous applause. And within moments, the entire room is giving a standing ovation, applauding Grace, not Lady May. Lady May is left behind the pulpit. So artfully, the way that was done, because I don't think that they may have been going in the same direction as May was up until that moment. But May joined in like it was her plan all along. So Grace kindly accepted the adulation. All right, so so she did that. Okay, Bishop and Grace make up. Bishop and Grace make up. Of course, we knew that was going to happen. There was never. I guess this big secret was really driving everything in this whole season, because he was making such a big deal out of her not doing it his way, by her calling the police when he asked her to give him a little more time before she called them, and he made a big thing out of that and stopped talking to her and kind of ostracized her. Well, all of this is around this secret, and don't worry, we got the secret. Okay, so uh, in that same conversation, Bishop confesses to her that what is wrong with him. He has Parkinson's disease, and and he wants her to take over. He said he's a preacher, and she is also a preacher. I guess the only one in his mind, the only one in the family. But so he has Parkinson's disease, is well maintained with medication, but he won't be able to be in the podium anymore. That was one of his secrets. That ain't the biggest one though. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's move away from them for a minute here. Grace. Okay. Grace goes and sees her grandfather technically, but is Lady May's father and Mavis's father also. Their sisters is their father and Mac's father. Well, they never did go very far with explaining. It's like they closed some storylines and left some open. So they didn't still didn't explain to us why they hate the father so much. But he's an alcoholic and a gambler and things. It's not too hard to imagine that they could have problems, severe problems with him. But now it looks like he's at the end of his life. May sees the squalor that he's dying in, and she makes it her point to do something about it. I mean, basically, she's the only one in the family that even communicates with him. And so she gets him set up in this very nice, her along with Kevin, gets her set up in this very nice, I guess you would call it nursing home. Not a bad nursing home at all, though. It's like it looks like assistant care, but it's a very nice place. And then I guess out of his gratitude, he decides to tell her the big secret. So I'm not in order and sequence and all that, but he tells her. First, he asks her, "Do you really want to know? Can you handle the truth?" And she says yes. And he tells her about a church that was there. I guess after she was a little girl, the church they started in when they weren't a big mega church or anything like that. They had a little church. I forget the name of it, but he tells her that there was a fire at that church, and that was not an act of God. You know, people whenever something happens in the church, they always say it's an act of God. He said there was no act of God, and not only that, there was a caretaker in the basement of the church when it burned, so a person died. All right, so now I did guess. I give myself a pat on the back. I did guess that somebody had to have died in order for them to have a secret that set all these events into motion. Matt would have to have one hell of a secret on the bishop. So the secret is someone did die, even though if he was not planning on the death. It looks like Bishop torched his first church, probably for money. It's probably how they got the big church. It's how it all kicked off. But someone died in that fire. Now, if you commit arson, someone dies. That's murder. So, not manslaughter. That's murder. So that is the secret. We'll get back to that. Okay. Noah and Ishmael and Israel. Okay. Isabel. Isabel got on her war shoes, honey. She's come back with the full armor of God. She, okay, Isabel comes back. She's back for Women's Day, right? She sees Noah. She's decided that she is not giving up. And she's going to use the woman's secret weapon. You know what? You know what y'all got. Okay. She puts it on his ass. And he bends, Noah is just so weak. It depends on who he's with. That's who he's in love with. So she said, I have a room. Because he always wanted to have sex, but they hadn't had sex. Uh, and so they got a room and they make some passionate love. So now something else has been opened up. We thought it was closed. We're going to reopen it now because we still don't know Noah's choice. We don't know if he wants to be with Isabel or does he want to be with Grace. And I suppose it's deliberately that they're leaving that one open. Generally, in a series, they want to close some things down, feed us these stories they've been baiting us with the whole season. But at the same time, they want to leave some things open so they have another show, another season to go. And there is going to be another season. So, all right. So they make love. Let me see. Okay, Grace. These notes got so messy because they kept throwing all these monkey wrenches in, and I had to change everything, and so I have to add it in. So my notes are a mess. Okay, Mercy and Kevin. Bless those hearts. Okay, so Mercy and Kevin. It's a sad story because it's not. Anyway, I'm going to add a lot more bisexual to my vocabulary because that's what he is. I think all the evidence is in now, and Kevin is bisexual. We as people, heterosexual and homosexual people, tend to pick a side and play on that team. You know what I mean? And so we think he's got to be gay or in the closet, or he got it on the down low, or he's straight and not gay. But he is bisexual. He likes men. He's already confessed that that he likes men. He's been looking at men. He's been obsessed with men in his last few months. But at the same time, he loves his wife, and he does love his wife. I just can't. I can't put any other kind of hat on that. So if you love men, you you lust for men, and you love your wife's a woman. It's bisexual. It's very obvious. So I guess it just changes the language a little bit on this situation. So that is not an easy relationship to have, because now she's got to be with a man who she knows to be gay. But what she's got to come to terms with, I think, is she's in love with a man who is bisexual. So he can be with a man or a woman. But any person is going to think that, okay, this is going to keep coming up. This is going to drag through our whole relationship. How can I feel confident in my marriage when I know that it's not just the two of us in there? Uh, but at the same time, he loves his wife and he wants to make a family. And he wants to be, he would, I'm sure if he had a choice, he would be straight because he would want to be able to be with his wife and his family. At the same time, these obsessions, they're present. This is who he is. So anyway, I think in this new era of gay, we're going to have to start dealing with the idea of bisexuality a lot more seriously than we do now. All right, so they show him on the phone looking at this man. That's basically how the episode opens. But there's a twist because, and I'm not absolutely positive, but I believe, okay, so here it is. He comes to her with this pamphlets. He wants her to check out this program he's considering. One of these, de-gaying kind of programs. He's trying to find a solution, trying to find a way to work with her. She says, no, that's not going to work. You are who you are. Don't do it. So she doesn't know enough. She's been around gay people a lot because she's been in charge of the music department. And not only is the one she saw her friend that she's so in love with now gay, but the one before him was gay, and I'm sure there were many other before them that were gay. If you work in among the music department, then you're not that naive, but you don't want to be married to the person. Okay, so when they show him showing her his phone, it's a picture of a man. So I'm not absolutely certain that the man he was looking at in the beginning of the episode was this same man, but the man, when they blow up the flyer, this is the person who's running this de-gaying program, fix the gay, pray away the gay kind of thing. She thinks it's silly, is foolish. I would probably agree with her, but at least he's trying to find a solution. She tells him, "I love you." They both cry together. Nice to have nice sensitive man who can cry with you and pray with you. She tells him that she's going to need time along with the kids, with the babies, to consider her options. So that's going to be a driving storyline in the next season, obviously. All right, and so now they said he was off the couch. I don't know if that means they're sleeping in the bed. I mean, obviously they're probably not having sex because she's 9 months pregnant or something like that. But so I guess she wants him to move out. There's a sad little scene there. They held each other in love. So we'll have to see with that. All right, Mercy and Kevin. Let me go somewhere else. Lady Mae Mac. Okay. This is early on also. Okay, so Bishop goes and visits Mac in jail. And Mac tells Bishop that he wants him to make an appearance and be a character witness for him in his sentencing hearing. And Bishop adamantly refuses to do that. And so, Matt hits the glass, you motherfucker. So it's telling you that he's mad as hell. He's not going to take it anymore. So Matt's been holding his secret on the bishop. This is why they put up with so much from him. And this is a key thing, because the story does not tell us. Everyone suspects, or many people suspect that, and many of us suspect that Lady Mae knew about the situation with Matt and her daughter, one who killed herself, Faith. So now anybody would have to ask themselves, why in the hell, what circumstance, what could possibly be that you would, a woman would allow her daughter to knowingly be molested by her brother in her house and allow it to happen? What could that possibly be about? And apparently it all ties into this secret, because if Matt knows that her father had committed this murder, this negligent murder. I don't think it's a negligent murder, because negligence would mean, that you just did something negligent and it caused somebody to die. But this guy apparently torched his church for money, and somebody died in that fire. So that's what Matt would have over the family. Now, I don't know that the bishop would I believe that he didn't know about what was going on with his daughter or with the other girls. But there's a possibility that May did know, and that's why she would allow this to go on. That's pretty horrible, but you would think the very least she could do is throw him out the house. But so anyway, so we didn't get in this episode. We did not get, even though it is the finale, we did not get why May hates her daughter so much. We kind of figured that it had something to do with this secret, with the situation with Faith, but they still have not made it clear why May hates Grace so much. Okay, so I'm just adding that in. I think that's why she would know. But May, she seems so blindsided, because there's another. I'll get to the next scene. Okay, let me jump forward and get to the next scene now. All right, there's a scene where Mavis, which is May's sister. Let me get to that. Okay, Mavis has a confrontation with Lady Mae. Lady Mae goes to her bar, which is now closed. They're packed, just about packed up and leaving there. She decides to go there and confront Mavis. And she tells Mavis to get out of her business, of her family. She puts her hand in her chest. Hey, right on the breastplate. And tells her to get out of her business. She calls her a childless whore. That is one screwed up family. I mean, nobody get along with nobody in that family. Okay, so, and then Mavis comes back to her, why that you knew. She accused her sister of knowing that man was molesting her daughter, and she knew it. And so Lady Mae goes off. Of course I didn't know. I didn't know. So her situation is a little deeper than she knew it, didn't say anything about it. It's more like she's in such extreme denial. She's supposed to be in such extreme denial. Now she got to carry all this guilt because of the way Faith's life ended up turning out, ending in suicide. But it's like you know something, but you don't know. I guess that I've heard of that happening before. People are in such denial. Even though they see the man going out towards the daughter's room, they could say, "I didn't see that," or they're in such denial. They don't that she's never even confronted to herself that she did know. That's the impression I get. Anyway, so Grace tells her about that. So they have this big fight at the club, and Mavis tells her to get. She didn't say fuck, because you can't say fuck on TV. She just told her to get out, get out, get out, you demon. And then does leave. She's still no doubt taking like a blow to the ribs about this situation, that she knew what was going on. She didn't know she was going to kill herself, but she knew that man was touching her daughter, and she allowed it to happen. I've heard of stories like that where women have been so desperate to keep a man that they have allowed something like that in their house. But all right. Mhm. Okay, so what Matt had on everybody basically was the church. So I'm not gonna rush the last scene. The last scene kind of tells it all, wraps it all up. Okay, what's going on with Jacob and Chris? Okay, Basie Skanks, the dreaded Basie Skanks. Okay, so now I don't know if we discussed it last week, but he has purchased the land across the street from Calvary. The land the bishop had turned down. The city offered to sell it to him. He didn't want it. Basically, he said he bought it for a song, and he said that he wants to build a Christian center, big Christian center. So I guess that'll be, well, I don't know what that is exactly. It sounds like it's still a church, but he wants to build it right across the street. So he takes Jacob and tells him about his plans. You know, of course, Jacob said right in front of Calvary, and yes, he said, well, the land was offered to your father. Your father didn't want it, and so I got it for a song. So to Jacob's credit, he goes right to his father, and he tells his father of what his new employer, Basis Skanks, is planning. So the father said, "You think I didn't know that?" Father says, "That's why you're there." But see, the father never assigned him to go over there. I mean, I don't know how he could have called that Jacob. He would tell Jacob, and Jacob would come and tell him. He said, "Just let me know what goes on as it's in progress, and then we're gonna shut that thing down." Like that Bible story when they go around with the Jericho, and then they make sounds and the whole thing falls down. Whatever. He uses a reference Bible. I don't quote the Bible well. Anyway, so he tells his father. His father says, "I'm aware of him. I know he wants to bring me down." He asked him why. He said, "I had no idea," which of course is a lie. But more will be revealed. They have to leave some things for us to munch on for next season. Okay, so Jacob and Clarisse. Now, Clarisse knows about Alexis at the new church that she's over there at Triumph. Anybody notice that Triumph sounds a lot like Trump? With one letter, and you got Trump. Anyway, Triumph. And so, of course, he tells his wife of the plan. They start off. I don't think that was intended originally to be their storyline, because they started off with he was a whoremonger. He had several affairs, and he was having this affair with Alexis, the white girl, who was fired later. But there was no indication that there was much of a relationship going on there at all. And now they're just the most lovey-dovey ones. So I think that they reacted to her that storyline in the beginning and changed it. So now they are the successful relationship thus far. Anyway, so she says, "You think you could talk to him about opening a school over there?" So she's all ready to go. Clarisse. So it looks like Calvary's coming down and this thing is going up. So now we're gonna. I would imagine the next episode is going to be the next season is going to be this rivalry between the two churches. I guess Skanks is coming up, and then Bishop's going to make it his mission. His last song is going to be to stop Skanks. Just a guess. Okay, who we leave out? Let me see. Mercy and Kevin, Bishop's Secret. Okay, Mac. All right. Isabel Noah have already screwed. Okay, it brings us to the climax. The last scene The little girl is loaded up by her father. Her father shows up in his little, I guess that car is called a Mustang or a Mongoose or something. Anyway, they take off. They take off. So there's, of course, there's hugging and kisses from everybody, and she leaves with her father, right? And the whole family's out in front of the estate. And so as she leaves, there are cars coming towards the mansion. This is such caca. Now, this is bullshit right here. All right, Oprah, you did a good job. But how in the hell you gonna be in jail awaiting sentencing on child molesting charges, and you are in the front seat of a police car? This is Uncle Matt pulling up with the police. He's in the unmarked car with a police escort. He gets out of the front seat of the car, sharp in a black suit, in his lawyer suit, unhandcuffed, and he's headed towards a confrontation with the bishop. They show the bishop upstairs, peeking out onto the driveway, seeing what's going down. But ain't no way in here I wouldn't give a damn. Listen, I've been in jail a lot. I've never even heard of such a thing. And not only have I been in jail a lot, I watched a lot of court TV and reality TV. I mean, true crime TV and stuff like. I ain't never seen anything like that. Okay, here's the thing. Okay, so what is suggested is when after Bishop refused to show up to give Matt character reference, Matt is taking it to the DA. They get this black lady comes in there. I guess she's the DA, and he has told her, and this does happen. Okay, this part is very feasible because there's snitches in jail. I wrote about that in a couple of my books. Snitches in jail, where Matt has gone to the DA and told them, in order to get out of this time he's about to do for these child molestation charges, I know about a murder. Happens all the time. You might not even have much of a chance of getting out of jail, but if you know about a murder, but they would let you go. I don't know if they ever put you in the front seat of a police car and drive you to the accused person's house so you can make the arrest. that part doesn't make any sense at all. But it is the very last scene, so I guess they needed it for drama. We have to allow for some drama in television. It's not real life. It is a drama, television drama. So Matt done snitched out the bishop. The bishop's upstairs. He peeking under when they see Lady Mac. The look on her face is telling her that she knows it is going down right now, and he has the nerve to put them big black lips and give her some sugar, like that fool that turned in Jesus. Here's the kiss of death, honey. She allowed him to kiss her. I don't know why. She should have slapped the shit out of him. But so that's how this season ends. The police are heading into the house. Everyone else, the whole family's out on the front lawn, except for the bishop, who is up in his window looking out as the police are coming to get him. Ta-da! And then they break out in my wonderful song. Except usually Shirley Caesar breaks out and Satan. Now they got a whole, at least 100 people choir singing the same song. It done brought that kingdom down. Bless God. See you next season, people.